Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you all. This is our regularly scheduled board meeting on September 21st, 2021. It is 6:22 p.m. We are reconvening in open session from closed session. Thank you all for being here tonight. I did want to say that we are live streaming on YouTube, I believe, in addition to being on local TV. Okay, great. That's something that we talked about at our last meeting, so we've got that up and running, and we are working diligently to get translation as well, and hopefully we'll have an update on that by the next meeting. Let's see, so can I have a roll call?
Stephanie Ahmad.
Here.
Rich Carnation.
Here.
Eric Heights.
Here.
Malinali Lopez.
Here.
Bill Adams is absent. Student Board Member Kai Heflin.
Here.
Thanks, Jen. Next item is flag salute by Trustee Lopez.
All right, can everybody please stand and face the flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is 2.3, report out of closed session. Do we have anything to report? We do not. Moving on to opening items, section 3, 3.1, adjustments to the agenda. Do we have any? Okay, no adjustments. 3.2 is public comment on open session items. So these are items that are not on the agenda, and we have a public comment. So go ahead.
Heather Cullen, and I know this may sound kind of random, but I've just been pondering on some principles that I feel really strongly about. Principles, not details, and not principles like principal, P-A-L, but P-L-E-S. And so just in some studying and stuff that I've done with the Constitution, and I've taught the Constitution, I just wanted to put something out there to let it rest in your minds as you're making decisions about tons of things. I just felt like it would help. So thank you for everything you're doing, and these are not all my words, just a conglomeration of things that I gathered, and I know I only have 3 minutes, so I'll just read. The Declaration of Independence states that the government derives all of its just powers from the consent of the governed. In other words, the government has no more rights than the individual man or woman. In fact, it has fewer. We don't give them wholesale control over us, and we give them a small amount of power so that they can secure and protect our rights. What this means is, if I can't lie to the government certainly can't lie to me. It means if I can't force you to give me money so I can give it to someone I deem needs it, the government also cannot do this. So hopefully you see where this is going. We live in a world right now where American freedom has never been more smothered, and I'm not just talking about COVID, just in general. I think we've seen a lot of people stressing worldwide about things. And having family in a country that recently, in the 80s, experienced a civil war, and some of my family members can't go home to their country because of the side they were on in that civil war, and others stayed there. I just want to tell you that I think there's a bigger picture going on, and if there's ever an opportunity that you have to notice it, think about what I'm saying, go, oh, maybe this is part of the bigger picture, and push it. So, whoa, that was magical. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for everything you guys are doing.
Any more public comment on open session items? Seeing none, we will, okay, and we did not receive any electronically either. We will move on to item 3.3, which is our report from our student board member, Kai Heflin.
Thank you. And is there any way that we could get my my PDF up there for everybody to see. It's on the agenda.
I have it, Kai. I'm hoping that it's going to.
All right, thank you.
Can they turn that one on so we can see it too? No, that one, no, they were different. Okay, hopefully. When Heather was talking, she was up there, but not there. So I thought maybe.
All right, we're loading Kai's presentation. We'll get that up in just a moment, and then we'll get started.
I charge $1,000 an hour.
No.
No.
There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is Kai Heflin. I'm the student board member for the Windsor Unified School District, and this is my report on the regular board meeting on September 21st, 2021. May I scroll down to the next slide, please? And for my report tonight, I wanted to give an insight to how some of the students feel about in-person learning. And as you can see, there's the rationale into the purpose of my mini survey to a couple of students. And so the way how I did this was that in some of my classes, particularly in my math class and my art class, I got up and announced that if there were any students who wanted to give them their email to me so then I can contact them later that day to ask them these questions, which are on the second bullet point. And you can see some of the questions there, such as how is in-person learning affecting your school experience? What are the positives and negatives from going back to in-person school? What do you like or dislike about in-person learning? And are there any challenges you are facing after being in distance learning? And is there anything the school and or district can improve regarding in-person learning? If so, what can we do to improve your in-person learning experience? And so students were asked these questions verbally and via email. And I believe around maybe 20 people signed up their email, but unfortunately only a couple of people actually got back to me or answered those questions. So for student example number 1 here, so I found that generally the students who I talk to feel that in-person learning is good for them. And academically, for example, a student told me that after having a year in distance learning and not being at school was a slight challenge in terms of the transition between being in school for maybe just a couple hours on Zoom and being at school for around 7 hours each day of the week on the weekdays. And one student said in response to my questions, quote, "I'm more engaged and actually look forward to learning again. Some positives are actually being with people, getting hands-on learning, and there's a good pressure that makes me do my homework," end quote. And in analysis, the students who I asked had a general positive attitude and remark in regards to in-person learning. And another quote from that student is, quote, "The only challenge I've faced switching to in-person learning is how much energy is drained from being awake and engaged in school," end quote. And so I think this sort of relays the sort of engagement from the students from what we saw in distance learning to the amount of engagement that we're seeing now. Obviously, the students are in class, and they're personally, I can see a lot more students that are raising their hand in class or asking for help compared to how many students raise their hand via Zoom. And however, I do notice that there are students who may not have a good experience with in-person learning, and I wish I could have spoken and connected to more students because I feel like that there are a lot of students who have faced challenges and I want to hear from them. And that leads me to the next slide, which can you go to the next slide, please? And that point leads me to my role in the WHS, the Windsor High School Video Bulletin, which was just published yesterday morning. And I wanted to introduce myself, my role, and also my contact information, such as my email, to the students or the staff as well, or everybody who saw the video bulletin. And I did this because I wanted to hear from students who wanted to contact me if there's anything that concerns them that I, as the student board member, should know about. And I feel like that improves my relationship with the students that I don't personally know, because I believe there are around 1,800 students at the high school, and I believe that having them see my face and know who I am, I think that would have a great impact to my role here. And the next bullet point is the student survey, and I wanted to give you guys an update about that. I've contacted, I presented the student survey, or my particular student survey idea last regular board meeting, and I've contacted Lisa Saxon, the Director of Educational Services, and Jeremy Decker, the Superintendent, in regards to the survey and how the surveys of WSD has gained better insight to the students, and we'll be hopefully meeting together in early October. And the third bullet point, the California Student Board Members Association, I have applied to join the CSBMA last week, and I'm awaiting contact information from them. And I know that the other board members, they have also joined I believe the California School Boards Association. And the California Student Board Members Association, I believe that's a sort of in the same public entity or organization, but it's something that I can also do in terms of participation, and also I could also contact with a whole bunch of other student board members around the state of California, and I think that would have a great experience for me, but also I get to learn about how other student board members across the state get to do their job, and